Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Cass. Thank you so much for listening and thank you for being here. This week's episode is the ultimate burnout recovery routine. No one's a stranger to burnout, and there are definitely different seasons and times where burnout is stronger and where burnout is not. And I feel like with the fall, there is this heightened sense of productivity and just getting things done that can quickly lead to the path of burnout if we're not careful. I love the fall time because I feel like it's such a signal of change, and I feel like it's such a season of preparation for the winter, for our season of hibernation, for our season of slowing down, feeling things deeper, and just kind of resting and recovering and healing. But with that does come this heightened sense of like, we have to prepare and get things done and be productive and do all these different things. And I've always felt like September is another new year, especially because of our school culture and everything like that. But it's important to keep track of how you're feeling and prepare for those seasons of burnout so that we can prevent it before it even happens. I actually did a full episode about the science behind burnout and the science behind the stress cycle. So if you're trying to understand stress and understand burnout on a scientific level, definitely listen to that. I'll have it linked in the description. But this episode is going to be, once you understand it, here's what we can do about it so that we can get out of it and get back to feeling how we're supposed to feel. The first thing that I want to say about burnout is the most important thing we need to do is get ahead of it before it becomes too big of a problem. So maybe you're not even feeling burnt out right now, but you might be on the path there, whether you're realizing it or not. And this is what happens to me. Burnout usually sneaks up on us. And once you realize you're burnt out, it's usually way too late. You're already feeling exhausted. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling angry at the world. You're not interested in anything anymore. Maybe you feel resentful towards your family, your friends, the house, the chores. You're irritable. And there's just this deep feeling of feeling like you will never get out of this moment. My whole purpose in this episode is to help you not reach that point, because once we reach that point, it is very hard to pull yourself out of it. But if you feel like you're in that, we're going to get into that too. But right now, maybe you're just feeling a little bit stressed, a little bit overwhelmed. You're not fully in the burnout, but you can feel it piling up. I want you to evaluate your routines and evaluate your expectations for yourself. A lot of times, especially as women, we give ourselves these overwhelming routines that are just impossible to maintain. So maybe this fall season, you said, this is the season that I'm going to start working out 7 times a week, and I'm going to cook every single meal, and I'm going to hang out with my friends, and I'm going to overachieve at work, and I'm going to overachieve at the gym, and I'm going to keep a perfectly clean house. And it's like, do you really think that you can keep all of those things all at one time? Not to mention if you have kids, families depending on you, maybe older parents that are depending on you, or just extra responsibilities on top of all of these things. I really want you to take a second to assess your expectations and your routines honestly. Are they just simply too much? Do you have too many systems that you can't maintain them all? Do you have too many routines that you can't maintain them all? I see this trend on social media, and I'm sure you've heard of it too, when people are like, this is my high maintenance routine so that I'm low maintenance. And it always cracks me up because it's like, obviously this is just high maintenance, which is fine. If you have the time and the space and you're young and you don't have a ton of responsibilities and you have the time to do all of those things, absolutely do them. But if that's just one more thing on your to-do list that you feel like a failure if you're not hitting it, that's not the time or the thing to add to your routine right now. Does that make sense? And we do this with a lot of things. So maybe for you, it's not your beauty routines, but maybe it's this expectation that every single part of your house is going to be clean all the time. Or maybe it's the expectation that you're going to be that friend for every single friend, and you're always going to be there, and you're always going to be doing every single thing. And you're going to overachieve at work and do extra things and volunteer for extra projects and just go above and beyond in every single aspect. And I hate to break it to you, but that's just simply impossible. One of my favorite sayings to remind myself of this is, you can have it all, just not all at the same time. And that's okay. A lot of times when we're leading ourselves to a path of burnout, we are expecting ourselves to do it all of the time, and not to mention do it all perfectly. And this is so common, especially with women, because we have this innate desire to just be perfect all of the time. But being perfect and expecting yourself to be perfect is just setting yourself up for disaster. It's setting you up for disappointment, because unfortunately we can't be perfect. And once you realize you will never be perfect at every single thing, there's something freeing about it. And I know it's hard to hear, But it's true. The trait of perfectionism is a dangerous trait, but it's one that comes with good intention. So I don't want you to be hating on yourself for this. I want you to give yourself grace and be kind to yourself because it means you want to do things well. You have ambition, you have desire, you have this intention that you just want to do everything in your life well. And that's a really good trait to have, but you got to give yourself grace if it doesn't happen all the time. You want to be the perfect mom. You want to be the perfect friend. You want to be the perfect employee. You want to be the perfect housekeeper. You want to be the perfect person showing up for yourself. And all of those traits are good on their own. They have really good intention, but you got to be kind to yourself if some of those areas in your life aren't 100% perfect, because they won't be all of the time. And that's totally okay. If you feel yourself getting upset at yourself or getting overwhelmed or stressed because certain parts of your life aren't perfect, I need you to take a step back, take a breather, and just reframe your expectations a little bit. That doesn't mean give up on all your ambitions. That doesn't mean lower your standards for yourself, but it just means be a little bit realistic. Do you need to do all the superficial habits and routines that you put into your life? I know with our culture today, there's so many routines and habits that are put on social media, which is totally cool and inspiring. But sometimes we find ourselves adding in these routines just because somebody else is doing it, and it actually does nothing for our lives. And if you have routines like that, evaluate them. See if they actually help you. See if they're actually things that you want to sustain, that you want to keep in place. For example, one of the habits that I kind of tell myself is like, I need to do a full Sunday reset every single Sunday, which has great intention. It has awesome intention, right? It's to get my house clean and get my mind ready and get everything ready for the week. And that's good. But there were points where having this Sunday reset in my head was making me more stressed and more overwhelmed instead of taking away the stress like it was intended to do. This doesn't mean that I'm just not cleaning my house and not doing the things in it, but now I allow myself to do those tasks whenever they fit best in my schedule. For example, today's a Saturday and I did all those things already and it's only 12 o'clock, right? Instead of saving it for Sunday and stressing myself out and feeling overwhelmed and horrible because someone on social media said I need to do this every single Sunday, that's stupid. That's pointless and it would lead to burnout. Maybe you have this habit in your head that you're like, I need to do this because it's supposed to be a good habit. Maybe that's journaling every single day or reading every single day, or these habits that, yes, they're good habits, but if you find yourself resenting them or holding back because you just don't feel like doing them, maybe that's not the habit for you right now. One of the things that I have to tell myself is I don't need a 20 million step skincare routine, right? Yes, it looks good. Yes, the medicine cabinet looks beautiful when you have all these products and all these things. But if I have to think about, oh, what day of the week is it that I do my retinol and then I do this and that, that's just too much right now. I'm not there. That's not my journey right now. But it's easy to put these pressures on us that we have to do this plus all the other responsibilities that we have. The best thing that you could do to prevent burnout from even starting is by having routines that you can actually sustain. And maybe that means cleaning out your closet so you have less laundry to do. Maybe that means skipping the fall decor this year so that you have less things to move when it's time to clean your house. We live in a world where we just want more. And sometimes all this more is just too much. Okay. And there might be things in your routine that you won't even have to do if you just decluttered, downsized, or just simplified your routine so that they actually fit for you and heal you and make you feel better. So if you're not feeling fully burnt out yet, but you might be on the path there, evaluate your routines, simplify the things you can. Clean up the things that you can in your life that aren't really serving you anymore. Sometimes we keep habits just because they look good or we've been doing them for a long time, but I'm a firm believer every season has its things. This season, you might need to clean up certain things and get rid of certain things and change up your routine a little bit so that it serves you more, right? Your life is your life. So clean it up so that it fits what works for you. And your routine is going to look completely different than your favorite influencers or your friends or your family members or whatever. Clean them up, evaluate, change it up so that it actually works for you. Now, maybe you're thinking, but Cass, it's a little bit too late for that. I already feel overwhelmed and horrible and I don't feel like doing anything. Well, if you're already burnt out, here's exactly what you need to do. The first thing that I do always that is very low effort but super high impact for burnout is brain dump every single thing in my head. And you can do this on paper. You can do this digitally if you're a digital person. I personally do it on my huge, obnoxious whiteboard that I got on Facebook Marketplace because I like writing with a marker, but do it wherever. Do it wherever you can. Brain dump every single thing in your head. Sometimes just getting it out there releases that stress immediately in your mind. There's something freeing about just getting it out of your head and onto somewhere else. It doesn't mean that the responsibilities go away, but there's something our mind does to us where it just tricks us into thinking that all of these things need to happen all at one time. And it makes you feel like paralyzed, almost like you can't get these things done because there's just too many things. So I brain dump it all, every single thing. And I mean everything. Anything that is taking up space in my brain, I write it down. This can be from immediate tasks that I have to do. It can be from things that I feel like I have to do. It can be reminders that have just been weighing on me that I'm like, I can't forget. I have to get this person a gift or make this doctor's appointment or whatever. Anything random that is in my head, work related, personal, home life, whatever, I write it all down. And sometimes this takes like 10 minutes because there are just so many things weighing on you. Write it all down. Brain dump it. It can be messy. It can be scribble scrabble. You can cross things out, draw arrows, put circles. It doesn't have to make sense. Just get it out there. And if you've never done this before, you will feel immediate relief every single time. Like I said, there's just something freeing about getting it out of your head and onto somewhere else. It's like putting that burden onto something else that's not your brain. And then once you've put it out there and conceptualized it, now you can organize it. And what happens with me is when I have all these things in my head and they're all weighing on me and they all feel important, once I write them down, I can usually see like certain things on here are not that important. Certain things on here are things that I feel like I need to do, but I don't actually need to stress about this right now, or I don't actually need to worry about this right now. And it's amazing because you'll figure out certain things that are weighing on you that you didn't even know were weighing on you. Like those random tasks, those random reminders that just keep nagging you, but you don't even need to do for a few weeks, right? Those things start to come up and you're like, wait, I don't even need to think about this or stress about this anymore. So once you have it all down is when you can start to organize it. And I'm not just saying make a numbered to-do list and then start getting things done. When you're really burnt out, usually you don't feel like doing any of these things and it's still pretty overwhelming. So this is the part that really feels good. And this is where I'll say, on your brain dump, say no to something. Say no to something that's on there that you can just say a complete no to. Take it off completely, not save it for later, just a complete no. Usually when you're burnt out, you're in a cycle of saying yes, 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 yes to everything. And some things they're necessary to say yes to, but a lot of these things are extracurricular, not that important. We feel like we need to do them. They're for other people, whatever. So pick one of the things and just say no to it completely. Cross it out. Say, you know what? I don't have to do this. There's something freeing and relieving about just saying, you know what, wait, I'm in control of this and I can say no to certain things. And I've been putting things on my list that actually have no effect on anybody or anything. Say no to getting all the laundry done in one sitting. Say no to that crazy recipe you saved on Pinterest that you bought all the ingredients for and make a comfort meal instead. Say no to running a bunch of errands and order the groceries to your house. Say no to having a perfectly tidy, clean Sunday reset house and just do a 10-minute tidy instead. Saying no doesn't always mean bailing on plans and bailing on friends. In fact, I have an unpopular opinion that as a society, we actually do this too much, and we are way too comfortable bailing on our friends' birthdays and our milestones because we need a self-care day. I get it, you're burnt out. I get it, you need self-care, but a better option is say no to all these random expectations that you have on yourself just because you saw somebody do it, which, by the way, if it's an influencer you're following, their entire jobs are self-care around the house, a lot of them. So sometimes the routines that you have in your head or these obligations you have in your head are just made up things that are unmanageable and unsustainable for long term. So I want you to figure out the things you need to say yes to. And these are things that you should say yes to. Things like work, your family, your dependents, like your kids, older parents, elderly, whatever. Your health, fitness, nutrition, the things that matter. Your obligations, things that you already said yes to. I'm a big believer on this. I love self-care. I love taking care of yourself. But like I said, I think we do this a little bit too much as a society now, where we start to just bail on our friends and somehow we've made it okay. I get sometimes your friends will understand, but we do this a little bit too much. And instead, we need to revamp our routines so that we can actually make time for the things that matter, the things we need to say yes to. You need to say yes to work. You can't call out sick every day. You need to say yes to your obligations. You already said yes to them. You need to say yes to your family, your friends, your dependents, people that care about you and you care about. But the things you don't need to say yes to, you don't need to say yes to the 75 hard or another random challenge that you saw for yourself that is completely different than your current life. You don't need to say yes to having a perfectly tidy house out of a magazine. You don't need to say yes to doing so much for the sole intention of looking like a girl boss. You don't need to say yes to all these random things just because you think it's going to solve some part of your life, right? You don't need to say yes to those things. And when you're burnt out, it's usually because you've added so much on your plate that you think these things are all going to help you, and it ends up just being unmanageable and unsustainable. So now that you've brain dumped and you started to organize these things, I want you to say no to one thing that you can actually say no to that's not going to affect anybody else. It's just going to affect how you feel internally. And watch, you'll feel this relief. And then once you're in a place of getting things done and taking things off your plate, I like to make a little number system of priorities on that brain dump. So I will go in and I will number 1 through 5, 1 through 10 or whatever, however many things I have on there, and I'll prioritize them. And usually the priority is things that are going to get the momentum going. So I usually put the first thing is something simple, quick, easy, and satisfying. Something that's going to make me feel immediately better, that's not too hard because I'm already burnt out. For example, maybe it's running the dishwasher or unloading the dishwasher or throwing one load of laundry in. Something that I can check off pretty quickly that's going to feel really good. That's not something that I dread doing. Like, I'm not going to put on there, scrub all the floors. That sounds horrible. And then I'm going to end up doing nothing at all. But something that's going to get the momentum going. And you'll see, once you do one thing, then you'll do the next thing. And then you'll do the next thing. And it's important not to give yourself 20,000 things to do, but be realistic. Give yourself a few things that are going to make a difference. Usually when you're burnt out, your house and your space are a mess. So for me, I like to prioritize the cleaning ones, but I don't need to do scrubbing the baseboards and do this crazy cleaning, just enough to feel back in my space again, right? Or maybe there's a task that's been weighing on you, like a work task or a computer task or something like that, that you need to get done and you're going to feel better doing. Sit down and just figure it out and get it done. Another thing I want to add is see if there's anything on here that you should probably just delegate to somebody that's professional in this. Like if there's somebody that you could pay to do this that will completely take the weight off of your shoulders, I think that's worth it. Or if there's somebody that can help you, it's okay to ask for help. What's not okay is bailing on people and saying yes, yes, yes to things, and then you become an unreliable person because you get into periods of burnout. I don't want that for you, and I know you don't want that for you. So we need to make sure that we're saying yes to things that we can handle, and then asking for help if we need help. If you live with a partner, or you live with a family member, or you live with somebody else, be honest with how you're feeling with them. Tell them, look, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I'm feeling a little bit burnt out. I'm feeling like I have all these things. And you'll see it. And it doesn't have to turn into a big fight or a big argument. It can be an honest conversation, and you'll see they might help you out, or they might take something off your plate for you. And just being open about it will also make you feel a little bit better. A lot of burnout comes from feeling like we have to do it all and do it all perfectly all right now. And that is just so unrealistic. So remind yourself, it will all get done at some point. And there are a lot of tasks that you can do with 50% of your effort or 60% of your effort, and it's not going to make a big difference. I feel like we equate some of these tasks that we have as like doing heart surgery. Like, it's not heart surgery. It's just the laundry. It's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if it's not folded right. It's okay if you don't make a gourmet meal, right? Save that 110% energy for the things that matter, your work, your purpose, your family, the things that really matter. And then the random tasks that we have to do because we're adults, do them with your 50% effort. And save that high ambition that you have, because all of this is happening because you're ambitious. And that's a good thing to have. It's a good trait to have. But save that for the stuff that matters and watch your life change. One more thing that I want to add about burnout and how to recover from burnout is the importance of rest. And when I say rest, a lot of times people think this means watching TV, scrolling on their phone, just chilling on the couch. And yes, there are plenty of times where that is fun to do. I do that all the time, right? But true rest is something that heals your physical body, but also heals your soul and heals your spirit. Something that I've been interested in recently is the idea of the Sabbath. And if you're religious in any way or you know anything about the Bible, the Sabbath is the idea of the seventh day God rested. And every religion has its variation of this, right? But at the end of the day, there's this idea of having a full day of rest, which I find that no matter what your religion is, having a full day of rest is something so spiritual and healing that I think no matter what, anybody could benefit from. We hardly ever get a real rest, even if our weekends are filled with sleeping in and enjoying ourselves and getting takeout and watching TV. Those things to me aren't full rest. And when you do those things, you don't really feel recharged. You just feel kind of relaxed. And to me, I've been seeking out this feeling of being recharged, not just relaxed, but recharged. And so that means you have to be intentional about how you take a rest day. And if you find yourself in constant cycles of burnout, I want to inspire you to try to figure out a way to have your own rest day, whether it's once a month, once a week, whatever you can fit in right now, but try to find a 24-hour period where you can actually recharge and disconnect from the things that steal our attention all day. I personally think you can't really do this without turning your phone off, right? And I know that that's hard. And I know that there are things you might feel like you miss out on. There are things you might feel like you're neglecting, but I want you to try to turn off your phone. And what will happen is your spirit will guide you on what you need to do. You'll start to feel these desires come up of, I feel like going in nature. I feel like reading. I feel like singing. I feel like playing the instrument that I haven't played since I was in middle school. I feel like making a craft. I feel like doing whatever. And just allow yourself to feel that delight and feel that rest and connection with yourself and with others. Do this with your family. Do this with your household. Do this with your partner. Once you turn off the distractions and disconnect, you'll find what activities are going to recharge you and reignite you. But you can really only do this if you disconnect from technology and prepare in advance. And when I say prepare in advance, that means you got to get the chores done. You got to get the errands done. You got to get all those things done. So that day, you're not distracted by the laundry and everything. You already got it done. Go grocery shopping in advance. Make your meals in advance. And give yourself a day to really disconnect and enjoy. You'll find that once you disconnect, you actually connect way deeper. You connect with the people around you deeper. You connect with yourself, and you actually feel really good. This is something that I'm trying to do in my life. It's hard in our modern world, but it's something that has been calling me, and I want to do this. And even just with the intention in my mind of doing this, even if I'm not doing it perfectly, during the week, I find myself getting more done because I want to have a day where I don't have to do it, if that makes sense. Like the random tasks don't weigh on me as much because they don't really matter. Like if I get them done, I'm going to be better prepared for my weekend and my day of rest, and I'll be able to do the things that I want to do, and I'll be able to chase these desires that I have. Like last weekend, I had one of my friends over and we made those little clay magnets, and they came out so cute. And I made them by myself the night before, and I just spent time. I actually spent like hours just making these little clay magnets, and it sounds so silly, but it was so fun, and it made me feel so good and fun. And we need more of that, right? We're burnt out because we don't have enough fun in our lives. Yeah, you might have fun going out to eat, going to the bars, going to the clubs, hanging out with your friends. Yeah, maybe that's all fun, but does that actually recharge you? Does that actually reignite your spirit? Does it actually make you feel genuinely better? Or is it a short term, oh, this is fun, right? So find a way to make this work for your schedule, for your life, for your routine, and let me know how it goes. And genuinely give it a chance, genuinely give it a try, and see what you think. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.